Today we're going to look at the Encore RV ROG 12BH. That's a bunkhouse, and it has a lot of features that you're going to think are pretty cool for your off-road excursions. Stick with me, we're going to check it out. Today we're going to look at the Encore RV ROG 12BH. BH stands for bunkhouse. But you ask, how? How a bunkhouse? It's not tall enough, it's not long enough, it's not wide enough. Encore RV did, in fact, figure it out. The sleeping space is a true queen, and then the bunk space is pretty large too, and we will talk about that when we get inside. They are made really well for your off-road excursions. There is no wood in the construction. It is a welded and bolted aluminum tube frame. There's so much to like about the way they put these together. They are solid. So let's start inside and check it out. We're inside the ROG 12BH for bunkhouse, and I'm going to go through all of that area, but don't look just yet. First off, I'm going to open this door. The nice thing about trailers designed like this is you have an entry and exit on both sides, which also means great airflow. We have windows on both sides. All the windows have screens. All the windows have blackout shades, and these windows are pretty cool because they open up awning style. And by that, I mean that they open kind of up like so. So it'd be your exit window on both sides, or if you just need some airflow, awning style. And as long as you don't have a breeze blowing the precipitation in from the side, it's mostly coming down, then you can have that window pretty wide open and still not get water inside. So I do like that about the doors being on both sides. Good window, good airflow. So you have all that airflow that can come through the doors or through the windows. Now the doors don't have screens attached, but there are actually ways to add additional accessories and screens and whatnot. You can DIY those options. But if you want to pull or push air in and out of the trailer, then you have this max air fan right up here in the ceiling, and that is pretty great because it's multiple speed and you can decide which way you want the air to flow through the cabin. You have an 11 BTU air conditioner added. That is an option, but you're going to find that pretty much in all the trailers at Princess Craft, because we are in Central Texas, we option them out with the ACs if we can. It is way too much air conditioner for this size space, but we say that facetiously because how could you argue with having as fast a cool down and as good a cool down as you can possibly get when it's hot outside? So no complaints there. This ceiling is actually a one-piece ceiling, so that is obviously, I mean, you can see it's easy to clean, it's light colored, so it makes the space maybe feel a little bit brighter. I'm going to go ahead and rotate a little bit here, and we're going to look at what's on the front end of this trailer, and then we'll get to the way you can configure this bunkhouse area in the back. Right here by the passenger side door on this trailer, we're going to run through all the stuff on this, I don't know, pillar, column, what have you. At the bottom, I have the 12-volt battery disconnect. Use that in storage to make sure that your battery, it doesn't have any parasitic draws from any equipment, and that it's not in a continuous charge recharge cycle that could harm the battery over time. A 110/120 GFCI outlet, your radio, your stereo head deck with your speakers here. You have a bank of switches here. They're rocker switches, and they are lighted so you can tell what is on it, and that's important because they operate SAE ports on all four corners, which I'll show you on the outside if you wanted to attach maybe a light or something like that, an accessory that would plug in there. So you can power those right from the inside and also know if you left it on or not. The main cabin lights switch is right here, cabinet lights, and those are really cool little bullet lights, little LED lights that just light up that space. The porch light curbside, the underglow lights. Now it's going to be real hard to show you the nice cool red underglow lights that these trailers have because it's starting to get bright outside. But trust me, it's a really useful light when you are camping and it's dark outside and you don't want to overly brighten up the space and you don't want to attract too much attention from people or animals. USB charge port. Looks like a switch, but it's actually two USB-A style outlets. This is a Renogy battery monitor, good product, and it tells you what's going into your battery, what's being charged, what's going out, and how long it expects at your current usage you'll be able to use the power in that system. Coming across, I do notice as I'm coming across this carpeting all the way around the cabin on the walls. I always like that because in a space like this, if you have really hard flat surfaces, you're prone to get very reflective, reverberary sound, and it can, to me, it can kind of wear me out, just that much reverb and all that. So it makes it feel a little bit more tight, a little bit more buttoned up, and maybe even a little bit more homey. It's not overwhelming. A really good storage space is about a foot or more deep. It does follow the curve of the ceiling, but very useful. You're going to notice that that is not wood. I mentioned earlier, there's no wood in this build, from the framing to the flooring to the walls to the roof, the ceiling. So that's something to look at, and this is aluminum. This is a spot for a television. You're going to notice outlet, you have a input for your coax cable, and then you have an HDMI port, which would help you to get the sound from your television unit through the speakers. It's connected here on the backside through the speakers in-house. And then we also have another SAE plug right there for power. All right, coming up here, let's take a look at this interior storage cabinet. First off, it's got a nice latch and it's lockable. So if you're out and about and you have something that you want to keep a little bit more safe, obviously the trailer is lockable, but then you have a second layer of protection. Good thick door, good latches. I'm going to swing it past, and there is a lot of space, I believe, and I believe it's 10 cubic foot, but I tend to have a bad memory for numbers and capacity, so I try to put as many specifications from the manufacturer in the video description below. So check out down there for heights, widths, weights, measurements, and things like that. Now this is a WFCO or WIFCO converter. It has your breakers for the 110, 120 power, and it also has the 12 volt fuses, and you can tell what they go to. Now the nice thing about this converter is it is auto detecting. So whatever battery system you want to go with for your trailer, it auto detects, and you don't have to find a dip switch or anything like that. Really nice. Now it is a good deep space. Again, this from here to the back is probably a little over 2 feet. It does follow the curve, a nice space down here. Let me go through just some of the things you'll find in here from the manufacturer. Obviously, manuals for all the equipment. This box contains some items from the awning system. So if you just want the stuff that came with the awning, there it is. Now this is an interesting one, okay? Let me show you this. Right now the trailer has a 2-inch ball on the tongue. We'll show it to you, but it comes with this. This is a lock and roll style coupler. It's actually called a CU Off-Road Max coupler, and look at what it does. You, instead of having a ball, it just drops down there, and this one's brand new. So these rubber fittings are a little bit tight. With the weight of the trailer on it, it slides down more easily. Trust me, it's a really cool coupler, but what it does is this is on your tow vehicle, so it handles the left-right movement, and this is on your trailer, so it handles the up and down, but also look at that. It handles this movement there. So it really is a 360 style coupler, and when it's attached to the trailer, it allows you to hit those roads that are a bit more uneven, more rutted, more bumpy, and you can confidently know that your trailer is not going to pop off because it has this big serious pin holding it all together. So I really think that's amazing that they plan ahead for you to configure this trailer for your use case scenario. They do have an outdoor spray port, so they provided the hose and the sprayer. There is a little handle here. And so this is the crank for raising and lowering your stability jacks. And then you have the 30 amp cord and more documentation. Notice that this is also sealed. So they build a good door for it, but they also make it lockable and sealable. I love it. Now, underneath all this stuff down here, there is an access door. There's not really much reason to be in there. It's just access to the furnace that is right here. Again, this furnace is large enough to really make this space comfortable and really quite fast. So there we go. All right, we're getting to the configurable part of this trailer. You're gonna notice that right now the futon style mattress I'm sitting on is set up for sitting and enjoying the space. And I might use this kind of setup if I were traveling because it makes it easy to slide, you know, luggage and bins and all that in the front. Good if I have a TV or if I don't want a TV, what have you. Good position. Now up here behind me, I have a space that if you wanted to use it for storage, perfect. You don't even have to bring the mattress. You could just use it as a shelf, depending on your use case. But if I had it, you know, my son or daughter with me, and there was just a father and kid outing or what have you, then they could easily lounge up here or even sleep through the night up here just like that. But there's so much more configurable space here. This lays out to a 60 by 80 queen mattress, and this lays out to a 70 by 54 mattress, which is large enough for so many folks. So give me a moment and I'm going to show you rather quickly how these two lay out. Okay, we're there. So you'll notice that it configures easily, quickly, and man, I could easily fit 2 small kids or humans up on the top bunk. And again, this is a 60 by 80 bed. So let me show you at 6'4", with a pretty fair size space to work with. Now, maybe you decide to sleep with your head on the other side, under the fan, near the heater outlets, you name it, up to you. But this does work. Watch yourself when you wake up to that loud noise though. There is the carbon monoxide and propane detector, and there are cubbies, and you have right above you push button lights. Now the thing about these push button lights in this area, 1, 2, 3, 4, is they're on the main light switch up front. So you could either go one at a time right above you, or you can switch them off at the main lights. Let's look at the lighting options up at the top. I'm on the top bunk now, and yeah, it's a little bit tight, but laying down, not a problem at all, and kids will love it. Now these lights have their own light switch there. So not on the main light switch, or they can switch them out here. So there's a lot of redundancy in the way they wired this. You also have reading lights on both sides and USB charging ports. And take a look at the windows on both sides. They slide open and they both have screens. So almost a full wall of options for opening. Windows up here, windows in the middle, and a door on both sides. So it really is a lot of configurable space for your use and for your comfort. I think that covers it for the inside. Let's go outside and see what we can find there. Before I actually clamber out of this thing, obviously I'm a big guy, and you may be thinking about the people in your life who are taller, stouter, what have you. I understand. Fit and finish is a cool thing, but fit of human, it could be totally another. I sometimes do hit my head on things, but if you're tall, that's part of the life. I love this format of travel. I've traveled in trailers of this type for years, and it actually works because when I'm inside a trailer like this or a teardrop trailer, when I'm inside, I'm typically sitting or laying down because a trailer like this invites you to spend your time outside. It's a good, safe, sturdy place to rest, relax, and recuperate for your next day's events comfortably. But I don't live residentially in a trailer like this. I go outside to the world's playground. And I think that that might speak to some of you. So keep that in mind. Even for a tall person, this can be a real trip, a whole lot of fun. Now I'm stepping out. Again, doors on both sides. And you saw me have to kind of pull on that. They use really strong magnetic catches that are, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You're not latching anything. And it holds it in a pretty stiff breeze. Good thick door, a great pliable seal all around, and of course, a good solid latch. Let me just let you hear this thing close. Pretty solid. Let's go from front to back on this side and see what we can find. Storage right here. Now it goes not all the way across. There is a light right there, and you might not detect it at first, but there is a platform that can lift up right here. And what you may or may not be able to see is there are spots for up to 3 batteries. I'm going to back up a little bit. Maybe you'll get a sense, and I'll also roll in some B-roll. But right now it has 1 battery. It is a lithium iron phosphate battery. This is 100 amp hour. Think about it. It is designed with enough space for 3 of those. A trailer this size, that's fantastic. When you're in that space, you might even be able to see a little bit of the bones of this trailer, being that it is all welded and bolted aluminum. Again, it's hard not to mention enough. No wood in this trailer build whatsoever. So you have your little running lights. These are the SAE ports that I talked about on the switches on the inside. Obviously nothing's attached to it right now, but if you have something that runs off of 12 volt and utilizes an SAE port, you can have it attached here. There are all kinds of lights and things like that that you can put here. You might be able to power, I don't know, some other gear, antennas or what have you, and just flip them on and off on the inside. There's one on all 4 corners of this trailer. This is just an antenna for that stereo system. Coming back, at Princess Craft for our inventory units, we typically, I'd say 100% really, order it with these racks. It is a fantastic, very sturdy rack. It can hold up to 400 pounds. Incredible. I believe the bars are 74 inches across, might be 72. Again, please check the details below because my mind gets muddled. This is an Overland Vehicle Systems awning. Remember we talked about the accessories box on the inside in that internal space? Well, this awning is incredible. It comes out beautifully. It can support its own weight, but if you really want to short up and make it sturdy to the nth degree, you can also deploy the legs, but it is not necessary, and it just kind of folds out. I love those things. Again, I like these awning style windows, and look at the stickers. They put stickers on here because, I don't know, as kids, stickers are cool, and these are very informative. 100% all aluminum, wood-free construction. They use Asdel in the wall construction and in the roof construction. The speaker system and the stereo, JBL, and 2-year transferable bumper to hitch Encore warranty with a 5-year transferable structural warranty. That's something else. You don't find terms like that on too many builds out there. All right, so this is a powder-coated fender, off-road tires, rather large, and that wheel is an aluminum wheel, and it is a 15-inch wheel with some pretty aggressive rubber on it. Coming back, another one of those SAE plugs, and then you have outlets, and there are 2 outlets right here. You could really cook up a storm using that. This may be one of the more unique stickers here. We just think it's fun. It's the certified Sasquatch proof. How you can get him on dial to come and check out the build of each trailer and certify him, I don't know, but I love it. This is a good view of the type of wall panels that they use. They're sturdy, all the way up, down. And then what is this? What's in the caboose? So this is a bit of a mystery, not really so much. It is a lockable back kitchen area, and I'm going to pull this up. Look at the great latches on this, and I'm going to say they have a catch right here, but they also want to kind of have a bit of redundancy. So take a look at this little bungeed tether. It holds here and wraps around the side there, and you're good to go. Let me see what else. Well, you can't cook on that. I mean, you can get to your refrigerator. Let's bring it out. And here we go. This is an off-road trailer with large off-road tires. It's got a good bit of ground clearance, so many people might find this a little bit high, but I've been around a number of off-road trailers, and if you have an outdoor cook system on a tall trailer, or at least one with a lot of ground clearance, typically that means all the storage and kitchen features move up by a few inches. It is a very doable thing, and it's about perfect for me. So, thank you, Encore RV. I have a sink that is about 6 inches deep and about a foot across. I have a 2-burner stove with its own striker, so you don't have to worry about where do I put the lighter, where to put the matches. And close that up, and if you just need it as some prep space or whatever, you're setting up your gear, your backpack, whatever, for a good hike or what have you, you can use it just as a shelf. Let's take a look at the storage. Again, everything is powder coated. This is aluminum. It is heavy duty feeling. And they don't really tell you what you have to do with it, because you can either leave it open and just throw stuff in, or you can design your own shelving or drawer system with this space. You have a bank of switches here. You have main light, and it is so bright out here, you might not be able to see this come on. Main light right here. You have rear porch light right here. You have the 12-volt refrigerator. So it obviously has temperature control and on-off built on inside, but this is an area that I really like redundancy in the system. If you have a 12-volt refrigerator or anything that is easily forgotten, then you can decide to send it power or not as a master kind of override using that switch. You have your water pump for sink usage. You're not gonna believe how much water capacity this is. It is 27 gallons of fresh water, I believe, but I'm gonna use the cheat sticker on the side when we get to it to tell me exactly if I'm right or wrong. And then your fresh tank, and that will tell you, you notice how it doesn't stay in place? It basically is your tank monitor. You hold it up and it will tell you how full using a series of LED lights, but it doesn't stay on. That way it's not a parasitic draw on your 12-volt system. So we can close that up, and let's come around this way. Again, SAE 12-volt plugs all around. A real good look at this sturdy rack. Did I mention that this is a walk-on roof? So not only can you load a lot of weight up there, but you get yourself up there to situate it and pack it appropriately. I love that. 27 gallons of water on board. This, behind this locked door, is your fill port for that 27-gallon freshwater tank. Or if you have an inlet for, see there's a hose notch here, for just supplying water from your campsite. If you're at an RV site or your house, you can run a hose and bypass the tank and the water pump system altogether. A little outdoor plug here. Now, you do have stability jacks on all 4 corners. They are not leveling jacks. With a trailer this size especially, just level it at your site, front to back, using your tongue jack, left to right by driving onto something on the low side tire to raise it up. And then you use all 4 corners to make this thing feel really planted. That way when you're getting in and out or what have you inside, that it's not shifting, bouncing, what have you. I'm gonna come back here. Again, such a good look, good build. Your 30 amp input, you saw the cord that comes with it inside. This is just our portable power system to make sure that we can light it up inside. Sometimes these trailers don't have the battery in them. This one did. Okay, the exhaust for your furnace, and this is the inlet for that satellite or cable, that coax inlet right here. So if you are at a park, use their cable, or if you're out and about, you may set up your satellite. So let's come around the front. You have a full-size spare, same off-road tire, same wheels, so you're not gonna be mismatched, and you know everything is going to run as per usual. You have a 5-gallon or 20-pound tank. This is a standard, beautiful size for this, because the only thing that is really running is your furnace and your 2-burner stove, so you should get a lot of use out of each tank. But when you run low or run out, it's so easy to get filled almost anywhere, or just replaced at a convenience store, corner store, Home Depot, Lowe's. You have options. This is that tongue right here. You're gonna notice they have a swivel wheel, okay? And that makes it easy to get completely out of the way. Once you're on your tow ball, or that 360 style hitch that we showed earlier, then instead of having to fully crank all the way up and just hope that you have clearance in the more rough areas, this thing, you crank it up enough to lose contact with the ground, pull this pin and just rotate it and you're good to go. All right, this is something to talk about. 2-inch ball, standard for more than 90%, more than 98% of the travels I typically take with my family. I don't need any more capability or articulation than a 2-inch ball provides. However, I must admit, I dream of doing more rugged travel with my kids, and that is when I would very quickly decide to unbolt this, slide it off, bolt on the 360 style hitch, and run with that. Because once that tow vehicle cants one way and the trailer's still following canted the other way, you're going to want to make sure that your trailer stays connected very solidly, but also doesn't cause too much stress, torque, wear and tear on a ball system. Go ahead and switch over to that 360 style hitch and have a little bit more peace of mind and more articulation and maybe a whole lot more fun. Coming back up, I love the fit and finish of these trailers, how solid they are, the fact that they designed them to go places that might be bucket list places for you right now, but could become very attainable for you and your family if you have the right trailer. I have a little bit of details on their options packages in the description down below, and I will tell you, there's a survival series, and that adds a lot of gear. You can get the axle-less suspension, which is a true independent suspension, a little bit more articulation and ground clearance, and you have a few other niceties that we'll try to mention in the description for that package down below. So do check there for the specs, the numbers that are standard, for the options that you could have on this trailer, and for that survival series package, which is really, really cool. I'm Clint from Princess Craft. It has been a pleasure showing this to you, and we will see you next time. There is a wasp on my neck.